I'll start recording again then. Okay, so you carry on, Gwynne.
Okay. Share my screen.
I've got to go now, I'm afraid. See you again.
Cheers,
Bye,
Derek.
Derek.
Bye.
Bye, Derek.
I've
There we are. Yeah, that's come up okay.
okay. So
That's it, you got it. It's there.
what I've been trying to do is put together bits and bobs on newspaper stamps, partly because I bought a lot at Cavendish when I was working there, and I also discovered I got quite a few other bits and bobs. And when I was looking around and having a fiddle, you suddenly realise what appears to be a superficially simplistic display of 9 or 10 pages suddenly gets to that point of being obsessive. So I started writing them up, and I'm quite a sucker for having additional material. So if you look at the bottom of that page there is a silver medallion representing the Toussaintine Amper Temple Junot, and I bought that just because it was solid silver and it only cost me £9 on eBay, which is less than the value in silver. So that's not too bad. But I've been trying to get my head around the various usage and the department and the actual items themselves. And some of these I've discovered, and this is my naivety because I apologise to serious collectors, I hadn't realised the complexity of the usage of some of these stamps. And indeed, as I'll show later, I've got a rose-coloured imperf, and it comes with a royal certificate saying it's a forgery. And I've looked at that in more detail and can genuinely prove that it isn't a forgery and that the Royal didn't know what they were talking about when they gave the certificate in 1999. But I'll come on to that in a minute. So a decree of the 11th of May 1868 defined the taxation and postal rates on newspapers. And here are some examples of the various colours and values, and how much they were charged extra. So although you paid for the stamp, of course you paid more for the stamp than you actually had on the face value, because that went to the taxman and etc. etc. So the different colours represented different values in terms of the destination of the newspaper and also the amount of paper used, etc. etc. And to save having to cancel them with a hand stamp, they just put them onto the paper, and they were cancelled by the newsprint, as you can see here. I am interested in that because I've got examples of some stamps that look almost identical with identical printing cancellation, and that suggests to me somehow that the stamps were put on not necessarily by hand because they're in such a perfect position to be cancelled almost the same every time. But that's again information that I'd like to find out later on. So the 5 centimes for the departments of Seine and Seine-et-Oise, and 2 cents for all other departments, 2 centimes. Here's an example of the imperforate in blue and in lilac. And again, you can see the lilac there quite clearly is an imperf because you can actually see part of the left and the right hand stamp at the top end of the stamp where it's been cut badly by the scissors. That also tells me quite clearly and shows me quite clearly the width of the gap between the stamps, and it's exactly 2 millimeters, and that's crucial on my questioning of my RPSL certificate later on. Imperfect lilac, used on Sunday the 6th of March 1870. Again, different newspapers, different dates. It's the 1868 issue on the being used in 1870. We now move on to the perforates. Now, In February 1869, the perfect version stamps were issued. Spelling mistake there, should be an E after the word were. And they were released indiscriminately around and about. But the fact that this is February 1869 and they were only released in this month, that makes this the closest to being a first day cover issue that I've got on newspaper stamps. So I'm quite pleased with that one as it stands. I don't know how common they are. It's quite this is just folded in half. It's a small administrative document. And then again, some a variety of imperfect 12.5 varieties there, and variations. Example of the 2 centime blue and the 2 centime rose. Sorry, this is the one thing about Zoom, you can't flip it round. So I'm giving you all a sore neck now. Bend your necks to the left. Again, another example of an imperfect on the 1868 in lilac. And there is my certificate showing that is a genuine stamp. I like it because it's actually on my birthday as well. But if I go back, you can see there's an example showing that it is a genuine stamp, which again is quite important as you go along. 5-cent mode used on small piece newspaper. Oh, something's gone wrong there. I've lost half the display there. I do apologise. Well, I suppose at least you've had 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 pages. I'm afraid that's all I've got there written up. I have got a lot of others. I thought I'd chosen the right one, but I appear not to have done. So at least we've had a little bit. And I would appreciate any comments and feedback on that, because I am really sort of out of my depth on some of it as it stands, but I hope it's a little bit of interest.
Thank you very much, Gwynne. That's very helpful. Have you got the encyclopedia volume on periodicals and newspaper stamps?
I
Part
don't
of the
know.
Academy's encyclopedias.
No, I haven't. No.
There'll be one in the Royal. It's a very, it is a complicated subject, like all its printed matter and newspapers.
Yeah.
And that does explain it very thoroughly. You did it that was very good. It is a difficult subject. Thank you very much anyway for filling in. So we have got a little bit. There's a short article coming up in the August Journal, says Jan. That's all right. Okay. Right. Well, sorry about all the disruption this afternoon. We managed 2 short. Well, we managed 3 sort of displays. I think I'll have to ask Mick to redo. It was I was enjoying that actually. He had some lovely things there. I think we'll have to ask him to do it again at some stage in the future. But for the moment, we'll stay with Peter and his Malgeria for.
Chris, if you want,
No, leave it as it is. It'll get to